Yo, I'm kind of starting a new challenge now where I'm trying to find the best beer money app. Today's beer money app is Eureka. You can earn from doing surveys, playing games, downloading non-gaming apps, as well as some passive ways like location rewards as well as videos. But is Eureka really worth using? Let's find out. So starting off with the surveys, you kind of get a small amount to choose from on Eureka on a daily basis. I think the most I really see is like maybe 8 to 10 different surveys. And the downside with this is that the lower the surveys that you get, the lower chance of getting a decent survey just because they're not really showing you a lot of surveys to choose from. Not always the case, but usually kind of has this trend. Now, a nice thing about these surveys is that it does show you where the survey comes from for the survey provider. As you can see, like for the top one, for $1.69 from Lucid. The nice thing about this is some survey providers have a better reputation just because they have less disqualification rates, pay you a little more fairly, or just an overall better quality of survey. And I'll list a couple on the screen that I like doing them from that I see on Eureka. Now, I will go in a little more detail on the written version of the review. And another kind of downside that I have with Eureka is that I don't really see a lot of high paying surveys, especially compared to other survey sites that I check on maybe a couple hours or even hourly, where I usually see at least one or two different higher paying surveys. Doesn't mean that I won't get disqualified from them, but it just means that it shows like there's a higher chance of getting a pretty good survey if you don't get disqualified from it. And just using Eureka for like multiple weeks, it's kind of rare for me to see a high paying survey. Like sure, $1.69 is kind of high, are a little more mediocre, but or middle in the road, but I just don't see a lot of like really high paying surveys on here. And I think the best thing that you can get from these surveys are the quicker surveys that are like maybe 3 to 5 minutes, and they'll usually pay you pretty fairly. And as you can see, there are promotions where you get like 25% extra from doing the survey. I think it ranges from 25% to 30%. I don't really check too often, which is super nice when you get it on a quicker survey or a survey that's just generally worth doing. But I do see promotions that are kind of applying to all surveys on other survey sites, so it's not really a big draw for me to do surveys on here, but it is a decent one that I check on every maybe couple of hours or at least once a day, and I'll try to snag like a quick survey to do. So right below the surveys, you do have check-ins, and you get paid 5 cents for going to certain stores, restaurants, or fast food places. I'm pretty sure this is paid to you passively. Just checking my profile, I do have 5 check-ins, and I've never been prompted to have to tap on a notification or open the app to claim my 5 cents, so, I'm pretty sure it's passive. You do have to have your location on and given permission to, like, show your location for this app to have this work. The nice thing about this is, if it's passive, you can just go to your store that you need to go to for groceries, or you're going out to eat or something, and you just get paid 5 cents for basically free without having to do anything. And, even if you're just outside the store, it usually should check you in, even if you don't go into the store, just because you're close enough. But right below that, you also have videos. Nice thing about these videos is that, it's not really a common thing to have in beer money anymore. And anything for videos that you can earn from, it's one of the best passive things that you can do, other than like, having something paid to you without having to do anything. But the big downside that I have with the videos on Eureka is that I rarely get videos. I get one maybe every couple weeks or every 2 weeks. And at that point, you're only getting paid 1 cent for this, which is, better than nothing. But when you get videos so rarely, I feel like there's almost no point in having videos. And sure, having the occasional video is nice, but only for 1 cent, I'm not really a big fan of it. Now, this could just be because of my location, and you might get more depending on where you live, but, this is just how it is for me. So at the very bottom, you have your daily pull. This is probably one of the only reasons that I check on this app every single day, just to get the pull. You do only get paid 1 cent, but, it's a nice reason for me to check on the app just to see if there's any quick surveys that I can do while I'm on the app doing my daily pull. Now, I do use this as my main way to keep my streak going, and you can see your streak at the very top left next to the trophy icon. If you also plan to use this as your main way to keep your streak going, just make sure the day that you're on doesn't have a check mark, and if it doesn't, do the daily pull, and then easy way to get your check marks. In the offers tab, right under the under 5 minutes, you have micro tasks, and these are basically just
pretty quick tasks that you can do where it sends you to a certain website where you have to sign up for something, or you have to do a certain task, and usually you can see like what it asks you to do if you click on the task. As you can see for this one, the rewards bar, you just need to visit the site and then complete registration. These are generally pretty quick to do, and honestly, I think these are some pretty high paying like offers for just doing micro tasks. And usually you see these on other beer money apps, like kind of rarely, but if they are on beer money apps, they are kind of lower paying. Usually I see like maybe 5 to 20 cents or something, but these are actually pretty high. Like I said, a lot of these will say like they'll pay you instantly, but sometimes it will take like a couple minutes or even up to an hour. Right under the micro tasks, you have the apps, and all of these are the non like gaming apps where it has you download certain like social media apps or even other beer money apps or financial apps such as banking and investing apps and even service apps. Now, I will say I think I see a couple apps that I don't see on any other beer money apps, so I would kind of recommend checking this section out every couple like days or every so often just to see if there's an offer that you won't ever get on another beer money site, just to earn a little money. Now below those apps you have the games, and looking through these games I think they're kind of average paying. Some of them are a little low than compared to like other beer money apps that offer the same games. Now I will say the nice thing about these games is some of them feel a little more achievable compared to doing the same offer on another beer money app. I don't remember which games I looked through, but a fair amount of the tasks look a little more easier to do, but that kind of just comes with the trade-off of getting paid a little less. And all these games are multi-level reward games, as you can see. They'll just have multiple tasks for you to do, and you get paid a certain amount for completing each task. Now, below the games, you have Playtime Rewards and the arcade, and I'm not a big fan of Playtime Rewards anymore just because they used to have a model where you get paid per minute, and the nice thing about that was you literally just downloaded the game or whatever the app was, and then you just let it run for the whole day and you get paid. But now it just forces you to actually play, which kind of sucks because the pay is a little lower and you actually have to put effort into playing the game. And a lot of these games will be shared with the same games that you'd see on like the multi-level reward offers. Going back right here, you might see the same games under this game section in the playtime rewards. And the difference here is that you would get paid each level that you do the game on playtime rewards, but if you did the offer on the multi-level reward game offer side, you would get paid a lot more, even like 100 times more for a lot of these games. But you'd get like kind of a delayed pay just because it's not every level, it's just every couple levels or certain milestones. So I personally just recommend staying away from playtime rewards now. It's not really worth it. At the very bottom, you have tap offers, and this is pretty much the same thing as the micro tasks under the under 5 minutes offer page, where it just has you go to a certain website and then you do a certain like thing, and it has the instructions as you can see, where you just visit the site and then you stay on the site for like 5+ seconds and then you kind of engage with the page and usually you get paid for it. Now I haven't really done this yet on Eureka, and if I ever do, I'll update the blog page on it, whether it's worth doing or if there's like delayed payment or tracking issues or anything. Now moving on to the cash out options, there are 72 different cash out options to choose from. You have your main ones like PayPal, bank transfer, Venmo, Walmart, and Amazon. Now you do need a minimum balance of $5 to cash out from here. The cash out time should take about instant, if not up to like a couple minutes, or if they're a little slow, it might take up to like 3 days, or if they're really backed up, could even take up to a week. Now, I'm not sure if this is the case for every cash out. I only cashed out once from Eureka, but for my first cash out, they did require me to re-verify my phone number, and they'll bring up a box where it also shows what else is required, and there is ID verification, but I wasn't forced to do it. I just still cashed out without doing the ID verification. So I'm not sure if they're gonna like really enforce that, but just keep that in mind. Here's a quick cash out that I did with Eureka just to show you that it has paid me and it's legit. Now I know it says that I cashed out $5 and I like got $9. I think
I
the
just want
thing
to
is a
mention
little
some of the
glitched,
best
but I
ways that
did
I think
cash
you
out
can earn
$9.
Eureka. First would probably be the surveys. Now, as I mentioned in the survey section, you're not going to really get a lot of like really high paying surveys, especially compared to other beer money apps that offer surveys. So most of your earnings from surveys would probably come from like the quick and decent paying surveys, and that's generally how I kind of earn from Eureka for now, where I just check in at least once to do the daily poll and then see if there's like a quick survey I can do, or you know if I have a little more time, I'll check in every couple of hours to see if there's like a decent and like quick survey that I can just knock out. The second would probably be the micro tasks, and you can find these under the offers tab, you know, the ones under the under 5 minutes offers, or even the one click offer, where it just has you do like, I don't know, whatever it has you do, like check a website and like sign up for something. And you can knock these out in like, you know, generally a few minutes, and then, you know, you get rewarded. And the nice thing about the micro tasks on Eureka is that I feel like this is probably the best place that I've seen for paying for micro tasks. Usually I see any Your Money apps that offer micro tasks will usually be like, I don't know, like 5 to 20 cents or something. And some of these offers are like, you know, 50 cents to even close to $1, which is super nice. And the next thing would probably be the location rewards. Now, I generally don't really leave the house that much, especially like at the moment. But you know, if you go out a decent amount and you're going to restaurants or fast food places or even shopping, you know, you can get 5 cents occasionally, and you don't really have to interact with the app, and it just sits in the background. Now, I know 5 cents isn't that much, but in general, Your Money doesn't really pay you a lot, and like the best way to kind of like scale your earnings to earn more of your money is to just stack multiple things. And you know, since you're not really, you know, if you don't mind having your location on for Eureka, you can just have it in the background, and you know, while you're doing surveys or anything else, you can just earn in the background, which is why, you know, videos are also nice as well. I kind of want to mention the games as well. I'm looking through like some of the like tasks that are required for the games. I think a lot of them are actually pretty achievable. I can't really say that like a lot of the games really stand out in price. I think they're kind of average, but you know, if you have an additional like device or, you know, additional phone or whatever, you know, you can probably use Eureka and do like some pretty decent and quick, well, not maybe quick, but like really easy offers that you can do compared to the same offer on another Beer Money app that might be a little more difficult for you to do. Just to close the review off with some final thoughts, would I recommend Eureka? I mean, I'm kind of in the middle of the road with this one. Like, I think I lean a little more towards a yes, just because there's like a fair amount of ways to earn, but there's nothing that really stands out to me apart from like the micro tasks or even the location rewards. Surveys are kind of decent, but as I mentioned earlier, you're not going to really get a lot of like high paying surveys. So, you know, most of your earnings are going to come from decently short and like fair paying surveys. And that's generally how I earn, like I said. And it is kind of surprising to check on the app every couple of hours just to see like a really quick survey that pays you a decent amount when I don't have any other surveys in any of the Beer Money apps that offer surveys for me. Now, the games are kind of decent. I do think that some of the games offer like pretty or like slightly easier tasks compared to like other Beer Money apps that offer the same game. So that's kind of nice. They do pay you a little less, and I do think the pay for a lot of the games are kind of average or slightly below average. Micro tasks are pretty good. I don't think I've seen another app that really offers micro tasks at like a pretty high price like it does on Eureka. Location rewards are pretty nice. You know, if you go out more than me or a decent amount, you get paid 5 cents without even having to interact with the app. So it's basically passive income. You know, you just stack it on top of some other Beer Money apps, and you're making an okay amount. Overall, I think the app is decent. There's nothing that really stands out, like I said, but if you want to try the app for yourself, feel free to use my referral link in the pinned comment below. If you're looking for any more Beer Money apps to try out, feel free to check out the rest of my reviews on this channel as well as the blog. Also, feel free to check out my monthly earning pages just to see what I earn and like cash out from month to month basis. I'm gonna get back to watching the most recent season of Jujutsu Kaisen. Take care.